Hi guys, so if you followed my channel for a while now, you'll know that I love painting miniatures, but don't really play many war games. Well, that's about to change as I've just come across a game that I'm actually hooked on. Haven't played it yet, but it means I get to paint and play with figures like these, lovely medieval knights. Stick around and I'll tell you more about it. So just over a week ago, I was scrolling through YouTube, as you do, saw these awesome looking miniatures, clicked on a video, as you can see, it's a YouTube channel called The Seventh Son, Medieval Wargaming. Never really thought about this before, but I absolutely love medieval times, obviously love knights. Saw this channel, as you can see, watched quite a few of the videos, loved the gameplay. I'll leave links down below to where you can check out The Seventh Son YouTube channel. Highly recommend them as they sort of show you how to play the games. And the game I'm talking about is this, the Baron's War. So this is actually the second edition. So this the original game, I think it's been out for about 5 years. To say how I've never heard of this or come across this before, I just don't know. Because as much as I love obviously fantasy and sci-fi miniatures, something I love even more than them, and that's knights. So to be able to paint up a load of knights and play a war game, yeah, it really has got me hooked from the outset. To say I'm super excited would be an understatement. So within 2 days of me watching the video, this lovely box turned up on my doorstep. And guys, yeah, if you've been with my channel a while, you'll know that I get hooked on something real easy, real quickly, and then I just go nuts for it. And this is definitely going to be one of those games because, well, you get to play out knights in real sort of skirmishes, battles, all that kind of stuff. But obviously, more importantly, you get to sort of make these off the sprue and paint them. So this box was actually sent to me by Wargames Atlantic. I'll leave a link down below. I've actually got an affiliate link with them now, guys. So if you want to check out the other games they do, or check out the Baron's War, yeah, if you want to fancy buying it, click on my link. I get a few pennies. Doesn't cost you any more. So say I've got the Baron's Knight second edition box. There's enough miniatures in there, rules, everything for 2 people to get going and play the games. But obviously you can make bigger skirmishes, and you can obviously then buy more knights, as well as the peasants and the sergeants and everyone in between. So you obviously have lovely knights. But you do have the lower ranks, and some of them have slingshots. But obviously in this video, I'm going to show how I've painted the knights up. I will go through other videos and show the other miniatures I'm painting, as well as obviously I'm making a new wargaming board. And obviously I love making boards up, so I'm making a huge big board. That's going to end up being about 4 foot by 3 foot modular board to be able to play this game on. So yeah, check out Wargames Atlantic, link down below. And I say it's an affiliate link, doesn't cost you anything, and I get a few pennies. So as I say, super excited from seeing this, the gameplay on this from the Seventh Son's YouTube channel. And so that got me hooked on it. And honestly, within 2 days, this turned up. And obviously here we are now, about a week later, and I started painting the miniatures to be able to play the game. So lovely book, easy to follow rules, which is awesome. Lovely pictures, both of miniatures as well as some lovely artwork there as well. You do get this one, which is the Getting Started booklet. So this is where, well, funny enough, I'm going to be starting. And this shows you, more importantly, how to sort of make up the miniatures, because this really is what you see is what you get with the miniatures. So you want your miniature, if he's wielding a sword and a shield, then yeah, you need to make him up so he's got a sword and a shield. And this also gives you the basic list to make a 500 points, and they're called retinues. So basically that's your group of soldiers is a retinue. And in this one, obviously there are knights, there's sergeants, there's some archers, and then there's some peasants with pitchforks, which honestly, guys, you need to go check out the gameplay of this. It's very much like a kill team, as in it doesn't take like a whole day to play it. You can literally play this in like an hour, couple of hours, and it's a nice, fast, action-paced one, turn-based, but really, really cool. Obviously, it comes with bases, but you'll see I don't use the bases. I use my own. But for the first time, I'm not actually using clear bases. I'm using, well, you'll see later on. So Wargames Atlantic also sent me some hobby tools, which is really nice of them, just to get me sort of started, which is cool. So I've got some snips here, and those other things are, well, they're hard nail sort of files, and well, you'll see me using them in a minute as well. So it's been quite a while since I've actually taken miniatures off the sprue. Obviously, I am quite crazy with the old 3D printing and do, well, a whole load of 3D printing. Although you will see some of that in some future videos where I am making some terrain pieces. As well as that big board game, yeah, there's lots of terrain to come along. So yeah, it's like, well, it's like sandpaper. It's rough, but it's sort of a smooth roughness, which is just perfect for getting away any sort of seam lines or mold lines even. Any bits where obviously when you cut these off the sprue, as much as you cut them as near to the miniature as you can, sometimes there are just little imperfections there that need rubbing or scraping away. So I normally use my my scalpel for this, but obviously as I've got this new tool, yeah, I'm going to use this new tool which works perfectly. So that's my miniature all done and dusted. Just got to glue them together. Obviously you're going to use the good old cement glue. And there's a new one by Green Stuff World, and it's this, it's blue. And the reason it's blue is it makes it easier for you to see where you put it, because obviously the normal cement glue is clear. So having blue, I guess, yeah, you can see exactly where it goes. Obviously, it doesn't matter that it's blue because these miniatures are going to get painted. Obviously, if you were sort of painting a miniature and then gluing some bits together, yeah, you wouldn't want to use the blue one. So miniatures go together really easy. And I say it is a case of you decide what sort of layout you want them to have, as in swords, shields, spears, all the rest of it. And when you make your retinue up, there's obviously, say, it's a point-based thing, so you get 500 points. And then, yeah, you sort of spread that out and make up a commando, some knights, and all the rest. So the bases, yeah, this is what I'm going to be using, metal disc. The reason for this, obviously, it's a lot thinner, because I don't like bases because they, well, look like bases, which is why typically you'll see most games I play, I use clear bases. So for this one, though, I'm using the metal base because it's nice and thin, but it still has a bit of weight to it, which is good. So it means the miniatures won't just sort of fall over if you touch them. So yeah, a nice metal base, nice and thin. So gluing my man down here, or to use normal super glue for this, not the cement glue. And yeah, I am going to be doing some basing on these. So these are going to have some sort of dirt and grass sort of included on them. So there we go. There's my knights. I say, so in my retinue, I've got 5 knights. There will also be some sergeants, some archers, and yeah, peasant folk with, say, pitchforks and the like. So really can't wait to say get them all painted. Obviously, need to make up 2 teams, one for me and, well, one for someone to play against. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So you will see a whole variety of videos where I will be painting, well, the different types of miniatures. So for the basing, yeah, going to keep it fairly simple. As you can see there, I've got some sort of sand. So guys, one thing I will say, when you do buy basing materials, it can be quite expensive for small amounts. So when it comes to buying sort of the gravel, the sand, all them kind of bits, what I typically go for is the fish tank stuff. Because you can buy a huge big bag for about £5, £8, and this will give you obviously a ton of stones, sand, or whatever it is, for a very small price, rather than paying, well, £8 for a small little amount of stuff. So yeah, get the stuff you get for fishes, much cheaper. So as I say, that's why again I like the idea of using the thinner base as I can, just so you really can't see it much. So when they are on the Wargaming board that I'm part through making as well. Again, I've gone hell for leather for this. So obviously I'm painting all the miniatures. I'm making this huge big Wargaming table, and I'm printing off loads of, well, terrain pieces. So as you can see, yeah, these are all primed in black. They're all my little painting handles. These are just 3D printed. You can get the files for these. They're over on my Patreon page. They're nice, simple little holders, as well as my dry brush thing here with obviously my ugly mug on it. So you're going to dry brush them with white. Obviously, this is the painting technique that I've been using now for years. Absolutely love it. Really simple, using speed paints and literally just priming miniatures in black and then dry brushing. This just helps the speed paints even more, just to get that contrast between the darker areas and the lighter areas. So all those lovely nooks and crannies, and obviously the detail on these miniatures is going to be nice and dark still. But all the raised areas, flatter areas, yeah, they're going to get a little coating of the white. So they'll be obviously much brighter. And again, it's a nice, quick, easy way of painting these, especially when obviously you can paint these little batch painting. So painting these 5 miniatures all together makes things a lot easier, especially as these guys are all going to be in the same painting sort of, well, the same colours. So talking of colours, I really wanted to keep this sort of, well, as true to sort of historical as it could be. So I had a little look at nobles, basically to sort of see what their shields were, their colours. Obviously, I'm British or English or I don't know whatever the term is these days, but I was born in Middlesex, sort of south of England, well, in London. So I wanted to try and find a baron that was about, obviously, back in the 13th century. This all takes place around at 1215. So it's the Barons' War. So it's a true historical event again. So that's got me super excited. So I've read up so much about the Barons' War. There was two of them. This is obviously mainly aimed at the first one. So I've scrolled through to try and find a baron that was around Middlesex. There's only the one. And I say they're in, I think it's Greenwich. You'll see it pop up in a minute. But I love the colours as well. So I was pretty pleased that the only person from Middlesex, and they had a nice sort of coat of arms, and it's this one, Geoffrey Desay. I guess that's how we say his name. And the great thing is to say, so this is the Barons' War, the first one. So Geoffrey Desay was around them because he was part of the Magna Carta sign-in as well. And then his son William Desay, and he was about during the second Barons' War. So as you can see, this is the colours I'm going to go for. So it's kind of like a reddish and a yellow. So these are the colours that I'm going to use. These are going to be on their shields as well as their tunics. Again, this is where I need to really look up and sort of know my terms more. So I absolutely love knights. So whenever I do play other kind of games like Dungeons and Dragons and that sort of stuff, I do like going for paladins. I love the look of a knight, big bulky armor, sword and shield. So yeah, again, I don't know why I've never looked into obviously historical wargaming, because these are the kind of war games that have been around probably longer than anything else, as in the good old metal miniatures. Yeah, would have been sort of these kind of historical war game events. So you say, yeah, I am super hooked. Sometimes I must admit it does annoy me that I can get so hooked and fixated on something that I just go nuts for it. So apologies, you are going to be seeing quite a few videos to do with the Barons' War and just generally sort of gameplay from this sort of era. Because there are some other games I've seen. I think is it Pillage is the other one I like the look of. Again, using these kind of figures, turn-based games. Again, they're nice sort of short games. You don't have 100 miniatures. You typically have around about sort of 15, 20 miniatures, which is just enough for me to remember what they do. Plus, with this as well, you move them around in little groups. So even though you might have, say, 20 miniatures on the field, they might get moved around in groups of 4 or groups of 5. So that makes that whole process a lot easier as well. So yeah, with painting, as you can see, yeah, batch painting is the best way to paint miniatures if you've got lots to do, especially for armies, and obviously more so if they are all in a similar colours, because then you literally just go through, paint whatever colour it is on one of them, put it down, pick up another one, start painting, and then by the time you get round all 5, back to the first one, the paint's dried, so you can then go on and do, well, whatever the next colour layer is. To say these are pretty simple to paint, not too many colours. To say their tunics, most of their outfits, and the shield, yeah, it is a combination of that yellow and red sort of. I forgot what it's called, but it's just obviously cut into quarters. There's another term for it, but as you guys all know, I've got a memory like a fish. Yeah, and I can't retain anything. So I did get some transfers from Wargame Atlantic. But I like the idea of painting on these ones. Some of the transfers I've got are really, really nice, very complicated ones, and definitely ones that I wouldn't be able to paint. But say, as these shields are just sort of cut into quarters, yeah, I thought I'd have a go at doing this freehand. Yeah, my freehand skills, they're not bad. They're not the best. As you can see, I've started sort of away from the middle and then slowly but surely keep moving towards the middle. Don't do too bad a job. Don't do 100% of a job, but sometimes something is better than nothing. Anyway, I'm waffling. If you are new here, guys, yeah, I do waffle a lot. Yeah, I can't help it. Yeah, again, if you are new as well, you like what I do, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell, as I do produce at least one video every week. And I say, especially if you're interested in these kind of videos of me painting, obviously miniatures for, well, historical games, you'll be seeing a few of these coming up over the next sort of few weeks and months as I build up the armies and to say all the wargaming sort of table and everything else that goes with it. Just because I'm eager to start playing this game. I'll be playing it with my son, and I got a mate that I used to play Kill Team with. I'm sure he would be up for playing some games of this too. So say, yeah, very simple. The paint job here, obviously there are two main colours, the orange and the red. Obviously any bits of leather or things that are meant to look like, well, leather can be painted in the brown. They also decided, yeah, this brown looks good enough to use for the base. Obviously change a brush, get a bigger brush here, although I still need an even bigger brush, I guess, for some things. Yeah, so say with the bases, you'll see me do a bit more to the base towards the end of the video, but I'm keeping it fairly simple. But I do want them to sort of blend in with the table that I'm building as well, which is pretty cool. So painted obviously all their metal armor silver, naturally, and then just using the wash. So this wash, even though it's in a bottle, it does say Agrax Earthshade. This is a combination of all kinds of washes. Basically, any washes that I had where I only had a little bit left, I literally just poured them all into this one bottle. So it is primarily more sort of sepia, a brownish sort of wash rather than black. But yeah, it's a combination of all sorts. And there we go. Love how this guy's come out. So this guy is going to be the Baron of my army. Kind of looks a little like me, except I'd need to add a bit more green stuff to his belly to sort of plump him out a bit. So yeah, the basing, as you can see, I've had this stuff for ages. It's nice and simple. There's basically a combination of 4 different green grasses in here. There's some small little bits of cork, and as you can see, there are a few larger sort of stones. But again, nice simple basing, but because there are those 4 different sort of types of green in here, or different shades of green, it does give it a much more sort of natural looking thing, because yeah, there's a variety of colours. So put a bit of PVA glue here and there. So I don't want to have too much on there because I want to see some sort of dirt coming through. So yeah, it says a good start to the base, but obviously I want it to look, well, a bit better than this. So I've got these little tufts. And these are great because obviously these add a bit more sort of variety to the bases. They look great because some of them have them little bits of colour in them. So it looks like there's little sort of flowers and bits and pieces. So even though these are sort of self-adhesive ones, they got the old sticky thing at the bottom, I'm still going to glue them down because as much as they are sticky, yeah, they would eventually just fall off. So just to make sure they don't fall off, a little bit of glue underneath, and there we kind of go. So very simple, very easy. Didn't take too long at all to get these guys done. So the next ones I'll be doing probably will be the sergeants. So there'll be another video. But each time you see one of these videos, you'll probably see more and more background sort of pieces sort of coming into play. As I am sort of making a wargaming table, it's going to be modular. To say the actual big size of it is going to be about 4 foot by 3 foot, but it's going to be in 4 bits. But the good thing about that is that I can then increase the size of it. As I say, so this retinue is going to be 500 points each, but you can obviously build even bigger ones, which I do like the idea of. Obviously, I'm going to start with the 500 first, just to get used to the rules and the gameplay and everything else. But yeah, introducing more miniatures is going to be awesome. So love how these guys came out. So nice and simple, but love the look of them. So a big shout out and thank you again to Wargames Atlantic for sending me the box for this. That was so kind of them, and obviously the tools. And again, check out Seventh Son to find out more about the gameplay of this, how it obviously plays, and how much fun it is. And I say this is all sort of real life historical events, which makes it even better. So yeah, obviously my little flag holder here, I 3D printed the flag and then obviously just painted it in the colours. So say this is what we can see here is one board that I've made. Everything on it obviously can move around. Obviously the miniatures again. This is where I am a big kid. I could just sit on my own and mess about with these and just pretend they're in battles. But obviously I'm even looking forward to more sort of gameplay and playing proper battles. So yeah, all the bits you see here, these are going to be shown in separate videos where obviously 3D printing some bits. Again, obviously, all the kind of terrain you make, you could make it out of anything and everything. But it's like, okay, so because I've got a 3D printer, and I know I can 3D print out some awesome looking stuff, then yeah, that's why I'm going to use the 3D printer rather than making things from scratch. So even the roads, yeah, they're sort of obviously modular, you just move them around, slot them together. But yeah, we'll be having some areas with bridges and some lakes, a bit of all sorts really, just to sort of make the terrain table look as natural as it can. So guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the look of these knights. Don't forget to check out the links down below. Another video coming up on the screen any second now. Like, share, do some comments. Yeah, all that good stuff. Subscribe. You guys take care. See you in the next one. Bye for now.